We have some very petty behavior in Bollywood this week, and not just petty, messy, and delulu in some cases. And it's not just the actors this time.
Listen up, it's jazz.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Hotchaipod, a podcast where we spill all of that sizzling Bollywood tea. I'm your host, Jazz, and we have a fun episode today, and that includes some requested topics from you, the teacup. So don't forget, if you have an idea or you want me to cover something or you have a very angry comment you don't want to leave on YouTube, please write in to hotchaipod.com or I guess write it in the comments below. You know that I have to start with an update on the Aishwarya Abhishek drama. At this point, it's a serial, I know, but I know a lot of you are tuning in just for that. So we did see some damage control on that front, and it wasn't like a very good attempt at damage control because there was a picture that started going around that showed indeed that Abhishek was at daughter Aradhya's birthday party. And to that point, I don't know that the photo actually does anything because it's not with Aradhya or Aishwarya. So like, if anything, it feels a little bit more pointed, you know what I mean? And then Amitabh Bachchan posted yesterday on X, like, shut up. Obviously in Hindi, of course. And that's not really helping either, because if the rumors were bothering them that much, why wouldn't they make a public appearance, right? Especially on Aishwarya's birthday or at Aradhya's birthday. It's the perfect opportunity. So you definitely did not shut us up. The last thing that was going around was this clip of Abhishek saying basically that he's a director's actor, right?
Do that. Do as their wife tells them to do. Thank you so much.
He listens to his wife. Awkward. I don't know. This story just keeps getting weirder. And also, Shrima Rai, Aishwarya's sister-in-law, tried to do some damage control. I saw her post some like inspirational quotes saying like she's not jealous of anyone, she's happy with herself. But I don't know if anyone cares now. We got a jump scare this week too. Vikrant Massey put out a post that his next 2 movies in Bollywood would be his last. Now, the internet jumped to conclusions. And the funniest one was that suddenly, as we mentioned here, Vikrant has started shooting a movie, Aankhon Ki Gustakiyan, with Shania Kapoor. And that after working with Shania Kapoor, suddenly Vikrant is ready to leave the industry. And then it got a little creepier, okay? People were saying like he's an outsider, insider mob is targeting him and pressuring him, and that Vikrant is leaving because he doesn't want to end up like Sushant Singh Rajput, rest in peace. I'm like, he won awards, he's getting movies with nepos, like I don't know if it's that wild yet. That's kind of like a weird conclusion to jump to. And then if you remember his co-star from Haseen Dilruba, Harshvardhan Rain, I certainly remember. He even came out and he said, I hope this is a PR stunt because like he doesn't want to lose a talented actor. But like, hello, Harshvardhan also left acting to go back to school and work on his degree in psychology, which he's been doing. Luckily, Vikrant came out and cleared things up, and he said basically acting takes everything out of him and he wants to focus on his home life and his health. So I hope everything's okay with him, and it's not surprising, you know, sometimes artists, and he's an artist, right? A true artist, need a little bit of a break to recharge, especially creatively get re-inspired, or who knows, maybe he will leave for good and do something else. I would be remiss to not mention the most unexpected hot chai topic. So you may have seen that Dua Lipa was performing in Mumbai last weekend. She has that famous song, Levitating. No, I'm not going to sing it for you. And arguably there's this even more famous remix that was created by DJ Rashir, where he takes the song Levitating and then he mashes it up with that famous song Woh Ladki Jo from Baadshah when the beat drops. So obviously, Dua Lipa's in India, she's gonna play that version. And so then she does that, she dances to it as though she's like Shah Rukh in the movie. So the crowd goes crazy. But other people also went crazy in different ways. So the singer of the song, Abhijeet Bhattarcharya, his son Jay, decided to go on Instagram and say that only his father and Anu Malik should be getting credit for all the hoopla and the hype around the mashup, and that it's not Shah Rukh Khan who actually sang it. Duh. I don't know who he's telling that to, the Indian audience. He also said only actors get credit in India, which I guess is true to an extent. In the US, the singers themselves are big star brands, right? They're going out, they're singing and dancing, they create this following around themselves as icons. Whereas in India, the playback singer is by definition going to be a little bit more hidden. You know, Diljit and others that are like following after him have managed to be more of that like singer, icon figure, but digging into all of that is for another day. So back to the drama, Abhijeet himself then reposts his son's comments about like, he's the reason the, song is iconic. And then other similar stories, Abhijeet deserves the credit and so does Anu Malik and whatever. Now, of course, singers deserve the credit, but this example was a weird way to make it about himself, okay? Because here, it's not much about the singer. It's not even about Shah Rukh Khan in this case. The song is from Baadshah, right? This movie came out ages ago, and I would argue that it's slightly irrelevant without this DJ Rashir, making this specific mix and it going viral on social media. There is a reason that Dua Lipa performed this song and not like another iconic Bollywood song. I think Abhijeet Bhattarcharya may have felt like walking it back because then he was talking to the Hindustan Times and he's like, no, it's the DJ who made it famous. The DJ made this mix and he should get all the credit. And he said, I don't think Dua Lipa realized that Shah Rukh Khan didn't sing this song. Honestly, I don't think Dua Lipa really thought about it or even looked into it. But then Abhijeet went on to say that anybody creating this controversy is a mosquito. Sir? I'm so glad that the interviewer was like, what about your son? Because he's the one who said all of this. And so Abhijeet replied that that's just a son taking pride in his dad's work. Okay, next. So Ananya Panday is definitely being shoved down our throats a little bit, okay? Here we go again with the overexposure. I'm just gonna say it, the PR has been relentless. It's the usual suspects of PR, okay? It's the cutesy childhood photos and stories, it's Chunky Pandey coming out to share stories about her. And I just saw she's on this year's Bollywood's Actor Roundtable, which just came out a couple days ago. So if I don't have specific takeaway for next week's episode, I'll likely be posting my thoughts at hotchaipod. Okay, now back to the topic. You guys know that I don't have much against Ananya. I even did special recap episodes for Call Me Bae and Control that both came out this year.
Rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. Out.
So she recently went on a podcast and she said that star kids get labeled as star kids and that it causes like biases or preconceived notions. No, she did not use those words, but that's the gist of it. Follows up with this part that's more irritating, which is, I quote, so I think about the individual more than anything else. Outsiders don't get tagged or shamed as much as insiders. There's no immediate tag to shame them with, but for insiders, it becomes a ticket term, almost like an insult, which I don't think is fair. Girl, they are shaming you and some others because you don't have that much talent. Sorry, I had to say it, okay? I don't see Hrithik Roshan or Kareena Kapoor constantly trolled about being nepos. They're just not. Ranbir Kapoor too, for that matter. I saw this Reddit comment that was very on point and I think encapsulated the crux of this issue, which is that it mentioned Ananya and Tara Sutaria debuted together in Student of the Year 2 with Tiger Shroff. And that not only did Ananya get the better role in that movie, but look at how many chances and projects she's been given since without actually doing a good job. And meanwhile, we haven't seen a lot of traction for Tara Sutaria, who, by the way, I think is beyond gorgeous, and she was known for being an actual Disney star, so she had like her own fan following of sorts. And I know some people say that Tara, isn't a great actress either, but okay, then we are comparing apples to apples. This may have been the first time we've mentioned Tara Sutaria on this channel, and we're already going to do it again. One of the teacups, thank you, suggested that we discuss her former love triangle situation. And I think it's not only juicy, but let it be a lesson on certain third wheels. Okay, let me back up. So, Tara Sutaria was dating Aadar Jain, who is cousins with Kareena and Ranbir Kapoor. He's an actor, in the same way many people here in LA are actors, aka his IMDb is very empty. Well, Tara and Aadar were dating for a few years, and pretty publicly so. Like, she was at family events, she's at the Kapoor Christmas, all that jazz. And sometimes they would have her best friend hanging out with them, and her name's Alekha Advani. And I'm pretty sure that they all went to school together. Now, that quickly came to an end because Aadar started dating Alekha and now they're engaged 1 year later.
So for 3 years. Oh, wait, excuse me? Did you just say let's talk about the husband?
It's not.
And mind you, he dated Tara for about 3 years prior to that. So the day of Aadar and Alekha's Roka ceremony last week, Tara posted on her Instagram story a picture of the book she was reading called Karma's a Bitch. Petty, who cares, honestly? It was probably to poke a little bit of fun at the situation, and also, why not? drum up a little PR, you have to get something out of this terrible situation. And the first lesson, teacups, is that she should obviously be thanking her lucky stars because this man does not seem like any sort of prize. And as for the friend, okay, in major quotes, anyone who does that is not a friend, but you're a snake. That's just my opinion.
It's my opinion!
In their proposal post a few months ago, Aadar calls her his first crush. And I know that's like an attempt to smooth things over with the public, make it look more palatable, but I think it's grody. Like you're basically saying you guys were all hanging out and then you were secretly into her. I don't know. Maybe that's just what they're telling themselves because it's very obvious that Tara would be the crush. Not to be mean, but somebody had to say it. And the second lesson is just because you think someone is your friend, it does not mean that they actually are. And I have learned this the hard way myself, and not through a love triangle situation yet, but in other very shocking ways. Okay, and you would think, oh, this person would never betray you or treat you like this, but you only think that because you would never treat them that way. And it's the same thing with like cheaters, right? Like they will accuse their partner of cheating or act really jealous, and it's because they know what people are capable of. This is barely even the first example of this kind of love triangle in the industry. Obviously, this man Aadar's cousin, Ranbir Kapoor, got with Katrina Kaif's buddy, Alia Bhatt. Also, I do know some very interesting details about the John Abraham situation with his current wifey, but that is all I can say right there. Actually, there have even been a couple Bollywood movies just about this, right? Johnny Tuya, Johnny Na comes to mind. But you know what? So does Cocktail. I can't be the only person who was furious at the end of Cocktail, right? I wish they had shown Deepika's character with like the ultimate Prince Charming, and I get it, at the end she's supposed to be empowered and like happy without the man, but really like she wants to still be best friends with her ex and her best friend who got married and like left her out to dry. No, it's a step too far. So manifesting that something better happens for Tara and maybe things will pick up on her career front too. Our next hot chai topic is a quick content review because I recently watched the Pradeeps of Pittsburgh. I know it's not Bollywood, but hey, it's a lot of brown people. An Indian family who moves from India to Pittsburgh, which is a city in Pennsylvania. And I would say the main actor, obviously, that I recognize is Naveen Andrews, who plays the dad, and Naveen Andrews back in the game. Okay, I think I last saw him in Bad Blood. And if you didn't watch Bad Blood, highly recommend. It's all about that Theranos startup drama, and he plays Ramesh, aka Sunny Balwani. And let me just say, they did Sunny Balwani like too good by casting Naveen Andrews to play him. And the same I will say for Amanda Seyfried playing Elizabeth Holmes. Because they're played by these really good-looking actors, you kind of feel a little bit more sympathetic, and you're like, hey, maybe they didn't mean to commit fraud. Maybe the romance was actually good. One thing that the show also didn't do right is that they needed to let us see the text messages. Some of these text messages came out about Sunny Balwani and Elizabeth Holmes' relationship, and she is writing him like poetry basically, and my boy Ramesh just replies, okay. But I digress, okay? The Pradeeps of Pittsburgh, it almost lost me in the first episode. It seemed a little obvious. It had like the typical ABCD humor, which you might think that I would like, but it was just, it's been done to death, okay? And it was like too stereotypy. But then as I watched more, of course, I got roped into the story, and it was basically like a fun sitcom. It was very light. It was like a good time pass. No, it was not the most engaging content I've ever watched. I was half on my phone. So that's not a total loss. And I did get a little invested in the drama and the humor. And then there's this mystery element where you're trying to figure out who done it. So I'm not sure if it's on for season 2, but I think so based on how season 1 ended. And for Teacup Time today, we have a couple of questions from you guys. Don't forget to write in hotchaipod.com as I mentioned. And by the way, if you liked this episode, press like. Okay, so first question. It says that we can submit dating questions, ? Is this about other stars or our personal questions? Okay, yes, let me clarify this. Yes, of course, you can ask dating questions about celebrities, or, if you think a celebrity is dating or you've seen them somewhere, please send in those blinds. But for new listeners, let me clarify this because in past episodes, I have done, I think, a couple of dating related questions. It's my personal passion and interest, to do dating coaching and the matchmaking. And I'm a very big psychology nerd, which you may or may not know. So I like to bring the two worlds together, and I like to help the teacups out. And if it's a question that needs like an urgent response, what should I do? Feel free to DM me on the Hot Tripod Instagram, and I will probably respond pretty quickly, and I'll always keep it anonymous. And the final question, hey Jazz, what do you think of the Dhanush drama with Nayanthara? Okay, so I hadn't spoken about this because ultimately this is a Bollywood podcast, and if I dig too deep elsewhere, then this will become a daily show, so I can't go crazy like that. But I did see this whole lawsuit thing, and basically Nayanthara is doing a documentary on Netflix about her life, which includes her love story to her husband, and she wanted to use this clip, behind the scenes clip from the movie that she did with Dhanush, because that's how her and her husband got closer together, right? It's a part of their love story. So Dhanush has been trying to block that, I guess, and then she wrote this open letter and she put it on social media. And it was very scathing about how Dhanush is being petty and she doesn't understand. And this is an important milestone for her career and she'd love to have it. And it's not even, something that's from the movie. It's from behind the scenes. So why does he care? And I have to be honest, I saw that a lot of actresses actually went and liked the post, especially actresses who have worked with him. So that's not a great sign. And red flag 2, he sues her for 10 crores for that 3-second clip, for using it and how dare you. And it's bro, it's not even from the actual film. It's a behind the scenes clip. And you're really going to be that petty and classless to your industry colleague. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm missing some info, but that's my take on it. And with that, Teacups, short and sweet episode. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, please press like and share it with all your friends. And until next week, bye.
Listen up, it's jazz.